Surprise visit. It was a normal Tuesday morning when the world changed forever. The sky over New York City turned from clear blue to a strange, shimmering purple. People on the streets stopped and stared up, their mouths hanging open. Suddenly, a massive shadow fell over the city. A spaceship, bigger than any building humans had ever made, appeared out of nowhere. It hovered silently, like a giant metal whale swimming in the sky. News spread fast. Within minutes, everyone on Earth knew aliens were here. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Chen sat in the Oval Office, her face pale but determined. "Get me the military leaders," she said to her assistant, "and someone find out what the hell that thing wants." Meanwhile, in the alien spaceship, Ambassador Zixlora prepared for first contact. The tall, blue-skinned alien adjusted its shimmering robe and practiced its greeting in the human language called English. "Greetings, primitive Earth creatures," Zixlora said to the mirror. "We come in peace, to teach you the ways of the galaxy." Back on Earth, chaos was spreading. Some people ran around screaming. Others threw end-of-the-world parties. A few brave souls even made welcome alien signs and waved them at the sky. In a small town in Kansas, Farmer Joe Miller squinted at the TV. "Aliens, huh?" he said, spitting out his coffee. "Well, as long as they don't mess with my corn, I don't care." As the day went on, more alien ships appeared over other cities. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, all had their own giant space visitors. The whole Earth held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. President Chen finally appeared on TV. "My fellow Earthlings," she said, trying to sound calm. "We are about to meet beings from another world. Let's show them the best of humanity. Be brave, be kind, and please, don't do anything stupid." Inside the alien ship, Zixlora felt excited. It had studied Earth for years, watching old TV shows and reading outdated books. The alien was sure it knew everything about humans. "They're just big, hairless apes," Zixlora told its crew. "They'll probably offer us bananas or something. This will be easy." Little did Zixlora know, humans were full of surprises. As the alien ship prepared to land in Central Park, New York City buzzed with activity. Police set up barriers. Scientists argued about what to do. And one brave hot dog vendor decided to stay open, just in case the aliens were hungry. The ship touched down with a soft hiss. A door opened, and out stepped Ambassador Zixlora, blinking in the bright sunlight. The alien looked around, expecting to see cavemen with clubs. Instead, it saw tall buildings, flying machines, and humans holding strange devices that flashed light. "Welcome to Earth," said a human in a suit, stepping forward. It was the mayor of New York. "We hope you come in peace." Zixlora's 3 hearts beat faster. This wasn't going according to plan. Where were the primitive huts? The humans wearing animal skins? "Greetings," the alien said, trying to hide its confusion. "We are the Galactic Confederacy. We have come to, teach you about space." The mayor smiled. "That's very kind of you. But first, would you like a tour of our city? Maybe see our space program?" Zixlora's blue skin turned a bit green. Space program. These humans weren't supposed to have that. As the day went on, Zixlora learned more and more about Earth. Humans had computers, fast vehicles, and weapons that made the alien nervous. They asked smart questions and didn't seem impressed by the alien technology. By nightfall, Zixlora sat in the ship, feeling very worried. It sent a message back to the Galactic Confederacy. "Humans more advanced than we thought. Proceed with caution." In response, the Confederacy decided to send more ships. They still thought they could easily control Earth. After all, how strong could one little planet be? As Zixlora went to sleep that night, it had no idea that humans were already preparing. In secret bases around the world, leaders met to discuss the alien arrival. And deep in underground hangars, Earth's own space fleet, hidden for years, was getting ready. The aliens thought they were surprising Earth, but soon they would be the ones in for a big surprise. Alien gets schooled. The next morning, Ambassador Zixlora woke up with a headache. 3 suns usually rose on its home planet, but here on Earth, one bright sun glared through the ship's window. The alien groaned, remembering yesterday's surprises. Maybe it was all a dream, Zixlora muttered. Maybe humans are still cave dwellers who bonk each other with clubs. But as the ambassador looked out the window, the truth hit harder than a club. New York City sprawled before it, tall buildings scraping the sky, flying machines, helicopters, the humans called them, buzzed around like noisy insects. A knock on the ship's door made Zixlora jump. "Ambassador," a human voice called. "Your tour of Earth begins in an hour." Zixlora gulped. It had hoped the humans would forget. With a sigh, the alien put on its fanciest robe and practiced its most superior look in the mirror. The tour started in New York. Zixlora's guide, a peppy human named Sarah, talked faster than a spaceship at light speed. "And here's Times Square," Sarah chirped, waving at the sea of flickering screens and bustling crowds. "Pretty cool, huh?" Zixlora's 3 eyes blinked rapidly, trying to take it all in. "But how?" it stammered. "Your civilization is so young." Sarah laughed. "Oh, we humans work fast when we're motivated. You should see us during Black Friday sales." Next, they'd visited a tech company. Humans in casual clothes tapped on sleek devices, creating things Zixlora could barely understand. "This is our latest eye," a young man in a hoodie said, showing off a glowing cube. "It can predict weather, solve complex equations, and even write pretty decent poetry." Zixlora's antennae drooped. The Galactic Confederacy's AI mostly just calculated lunch orders. The tour continued to a music festival. The alien winced as loud sounds assaulted its sensitive ears. Humans jumped and danced, looking almost like they were having seizures. "What is this horrible noise?" Zixlora shouted over the din. "It's dubstep," a teenager yelled back, grinning. "Isn't it awesome?" Zixlora made a mental note. Earth music could be a powerful weapon. As the day went on, the aliens' confusion grew. Humans showed off their art, their sports, their food. They had created so much in so little time. But how do you advance so quickly? Zixlora finally asked Sarah. The guide's smile turned a bit sad. "Well, our history isn't all great. We've had a lot of wars. That pushed us to invent faster, to survive." Zixlora's blue skin paled. Wars? The Galactic Confederacy hadn't had a real war in 10,000 years. These humans were starting to sound dangerous. The last stop was a military base. Zixlora watched in awe as sleek jets took off, moving faster than anything the alien had seen before. "And these are just our old models," a general said proudly. "Wait till you see what we're working on next." By the time Zixlora returned to its ship that night, its head was spinning. How could the Confederacy have misjudged humans so badly? The alien sent another message home. Humans more advanced than previously reported. Possibly dangerous. Request immediate conference. But the reply from the Confederacy was dismissive. Impossible. Continue with plan to integrate Earth. They can't be that advanced. Zixlora slumped in its chair, feeling lost. It had come to teach humans about the galaxy. Instead, the alien felt like it was the one getting schooled. Meanwhile, in secret bases around the world, humans were busy. They had learned a lot from studying the alien ship. Engineers worked day and night, upgrading Earth's hidden fleet with new technology. In Washington, D.C., President Chen met with world leaders. "We need to be ready," she said firmly. "These aliens might look friendly now, but we can't take chances." The other leaders nodded. Humanity had faced threats before. They would be ready for whatever came next. As night fell over Earth, 2 very different scenes played out. In the alien ship, Zixlora tossed and turned, worrying about what tomorrow might bring. And in homes, labs, and secret bases across the planet, humans did what they did best. They prepared, they invented, and they dreamed of the stars. The Galactic Confederacy thought they were the teachers. But on this little blue planet, school was in session, and humans were about to give the universe a lesson it would never forget. Trouble brewing. A month had passed since the aliens arrived. The world had changed, but life went on. People still went to work, kids still complained about homework, and cats still knocked things off tables. But now, everyone looked up at the sky more often. In New York, Ambassador Zixlora sat in a fancy hotel room, feeling very confused. The alien stared at a TV screen, watching humans argue about politics. How can they get anything done when they keep fighting? Zixlora wondered aloud. Just then, the TV showed breaking news. The leaders of Earth's biggest countries were meeting at the United Nations. They had a big announcement. In the UN building, President Chen stood at a podium. Cameras flashed as she spoke. "Today, we take a historic step," she said. "All nations of Earth have agreed to form a united government. Together, we will face this new era of galactic relations." Zixlora's antennae perked up. This was unexpected. The Confederacy had hoped to keep Earth's countries divided. It was easier to control that way. Meanwhile, in a secret underground base in the Rocky Mountains, General Maria Rodriguez watched the announcement on a big screen. She smiled and turned to her team. "Phase 1 complete," she said. "Now for the hard part." Back in New York, Zixlora received a message from the Confederacy. Earth uniting unexpectedly. Proceed with resource acquisition plan. The alien frowned. It didn't like this plan, but orders were orders. Zixlora put on its best diplomatic smile and headed to meet Earth's new united government. At the meeting, Zixlora spoke sweetly. "The Galactic Confederacy is pleased to see Earth united. As a gesture of goodwill, we offer to help manage your resources. Our advanced technology can make your mines and farms much more efficient." The human leaders listened politely, but their eyes were sharp, watching Zixlora carefully. "Thank you for your generous offer," President Chen said. "We'll need time to consider it." As soon as the alien left, the room burst into action. "They're trying to take control of our resources," one leader said, "just as we predicted." In London, a young hacker named Aisha got a secret message. It was time. She cracked her knuckles and started typing furiously. All around the world, other hackers did the same. They were looking for something hidden in the alien transmissions, something the Confederacy didn't want humans to find. Days passed. Zixlora grew more frustrated. The humans kept delaying, asking for more time to consider the Confederacy's offers. One night, as the alien paced in its room, a human named Tom knocked on the door. Tom was supposed to be Zixlora's assistant, but the alien found him annoyingly cheerful. "Hey, Ambassador," Tom said brightly. "Want to go for a walk? The city's beautiful at night." Zixlora sighed. It didn't want to go, but maybe a walk would clear its head. As they strolled through a park, Tom chatted about Earth history. "You know, humans have faced big challenges before," he said. "But we always find a way to survive and thrive." Zixlora nodded absently, not really listening. It was too busy worrying about the Confederacy's plans. What the alien didn't notice was Tom pressing a small button on his watch. Hidden cameras in the park recorded everything Zixlora said and did. In the Rockies base, General Rodriguez watched the feed. "Keep him talking," she muttered. "We need more intel." Weeks turned into months. The Confederacy grew impatient. More alien ships arrived, hovering over Earth's major cities. It was a show of force, meant to scare the humans into cooperating. But humans don't scare easily. In labs and workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked day and night. They studied every bit of alien tech they could get their hands on. And they built something in secret. Deep in the oceans, hidden space stations grew, and in underground hangars, a fleet of ships waited. ships built with a mix of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech. Zixlora felt the tension growing. Humans were smiling less. They watched the aliens with wary eyes. The ambassador sent worried messages home, but the Confederacy ignored the warnings. Proceed with the plan, they told Zixlora. Humans are primitive. They'll give in soon. But the Confederacy was wrong. Humans weren't giving in. They were getting ready. In the White House, President Chen looked out the window at the alien ships in the sky. "Are we ready?" she asked. General Rodriguez nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be, Madam President." Chen took a deep breath. "Then it's time. Send the message." Across the Earth, hidden transmitters powered up. A signal went out, not to the alien ships above, but to the stars beyond. The signal said one thing: now. In that moment, Zixlora felt a chill run down its spine. Something big was about to happen. But what? The stage was set. The trouble that had been brewing was about to boil over. And the galaxy was in for the surprise of a lifetime. Aliens get bossy. The morning sky over New York was filled with alien ships. They hung there like giant metal clouds, blocking out the sun. People on the streets looked up, their faces a mix of fear and anger. Inside the biggest ship, Zixlora paced nervously. The alien ambassador had just received new orders from the Galactic Confederacy, orders it didn't like. "This is a mistake," Zixlora muttered. But arguing with the Confederacy was like trying to teach a black hole table manners, pointless and dangerous. Down on Earth, in the United Nations building, world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was tense. Everyone knew something big was about to happen. Suddenly, all the screens in the room lit up. The wrinkled face of the Galactic Confederacy's supreme leader filled every display. "People of Earth," the alien leader said, its voice deep and echoing, "the time has come for you to join the Galactic Confederacy. Resist and face the consequences." President Chen stood up, her face calm but her eyes blazing. "And if we refuse?" The alien leader's mouth stretched into what might have been a smile, or a snarl. "Then we will be forced to convince you." The screens went dark. The room erupted into chaos. In Washington, D.C., the White House was a beehive of activity. President Chen walked quickly down a hallway, surrounded by advisors. "Madam President," General Rodriguez said, matching her pace, "our hidden fleet is ready. Should we reveal it now?" Chen shook her head. "Not yet. We need to buy more time." Meanwhile, in a small diner in Kansas, Farmer Joe Miller sipped his coffee and watched the news. The waitress, Sally, refilled his cup. "What do you think, Joe?" she asked, nodding at the TV. "Reckon them aliens mean business." Joe snorted. "Bunch of overgrown lizards, if you ask me. They don't know who they're messing with." Back in New York, Zixlora prepared to deliver the Confederacy's ultimatum to Earth's leaders. The alien felt sick to all three of its stomachs. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. In the UN building, Zixlora stood before the assembled human leaders. Its voice shook slightly as it spoke. "The Galactic Confederacy offers Earth a choice," the alien said. "Join us willingly, or we will be forced to take aggressive action." The room was silent for a moment. Then, to Zixlora's surprise, President Chen smiled. "Ambassador," she said calmly, "we're going to need some time to discuss this. Say, 48 hours. Zixlora blinked in confusion. This wasn't the reaction it expected. "I suppose that would be acceptable," the alien said. As soon as Zixlora left, the human leaders sprang into action. They had a secret meeting to attend. Deep underground, in a bunker built to survive even the worst alien attack, Earth's top leaders and scientists gathered. The room was dominated by a giant holographic display of the planet. "Status report," President Chen demanded. A young scientist stepped forward. "Our global defense network is online, Madam President. The hidden fleet is ready to launch at a moment's notice." General Rodriguez nodded. And our special surprise is in place, she added with a grim smile. Chen looked around the room. We've prepared for this moment for years, she said. But I need to know, are we ready to face the consequences if this goes wrong? The room was silent for a moment. Then Joe Miller, who had been invited as a representative of ordinary folks, spoke up. Ma'am, he said, his voice gruff but determined. We've faced tough times before. We'll face this one too. Together. Everyone nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, aboard the alien mothership, Zixlora received a message from the Confederacy. Preparations complete. Begin planetary subjugation in 36 hours. The alien ambassador felt a wave of dread. This was going to be a disaster. As the deadline approached, tension on Earth reached a fever pitch. But strangely, there was no panic. People went about their daily lives, but with a quiet determination. In New York, Tom, the cheerful assistant, brought Zixlora a cup of Earth coffee. Penny for your thoughts, Tom asked with a smile. Zixlora sighed. I fear my people have made a grave mistake, the alien said. Tom's smile didn't waver. Don't worry, he said. I have a feeling everything will work out just fine. What Zixlora didn't know was that Tom was transmitting their entire conversation to the secret bunker. As the 48-hour deadline neared its end, Zixlora prepared to deliver the Confederacy's final ultimatum. The alien's hands shook as it put on its formal robes. In the UN building, world leaders gathered one last time. There was no fear in their eyes now, only determination. Zixlora took a deep breath and began to speak. People of Earth, the Galactic Confederacy demands your answer. Will you join us, or face the consequences? President Chen stood up. Her voice was calm, but it carried a strength that made even Zixlora take a step back. Ambassador, she said, we have an answer for you. But first, we have a surprise of our own. At that moment, all around the world, hidden hangar doors began to open. And in orbit, cloaking devices deactivated, revealing Earth's secret fleet. The humans weren't helpless after all. And the Galactic Confederacy was about to learn a very important lesson. Never underestimate Earth. Earth's big surprise. The room fell silent as President Chen finished speaking. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Zixlora's antenna twitched nervously. What surprise could these humans possibly have? Suddenly, the big screen behind Chen lit up. It showed a view of Earth from space. At first, everything looked normal. Then, like magic, ships started to appear. Not just a few ships. Hundreds. Thousands. A massive fleet, hidden in plain sight. Zixlora's three jaws dropped. Impossible, the alien whispered. Chen's eyes gleamed. Ambassador, allow me to introduce you to Earth's defense fleet. In space, more and more ships revealed themselves. They had been hiding behind cloaking technology reverse-engineered from the aliens' own ships. The fleet was a mix of sleek, modern vessels and what looked like retrofitted ocean ships, now capable of spaceflight. On the alien mothership, alarms began to blare. The Supreme Leader's face appeared on screens, its eyes wide with shock. What is the meaning of this? It demanded. Back in the UN, Zixlora struggled to find words. But how? Was all the alien could manage. Chen smiled. You're not the first aliens to visit Earth, Ambassador. Just the first to announce yourselves so boldly. In Kansas, Farmer Joe Miller stepped out of his barn. But instead of his usual tractor, he climbed into a small spaceship hidden under a holographic haystack. Time to earn my flight pay, he chuckled, taking off to join the fleet. All around the world, similar scenes played out. Ordinary people revealed extraordinary secrets. The little old lady next door turned out to be a Top Gun pilot. The quiet teenager down the street, a genius hacker who helped develop the cloaking tech. In orbit, Earth's fleet took formation. Leading them was a massive ship that dwarfed even the alien mothership. Its side read EDS Hope, Earth Defense Ship Hope. Aboard the Hope, General Rodriguez sat in the captain's chair. All ships report ready, Mime, her second-in-command announced. Rodriguez nodded. Then let's give our guests a proper Earth welcome. At her command, every ship in Earth's fleet lit up. Engines glowed, weapons systems hummed to life. It wasn't just a show of force. It was a galaxy-class-like show. On Earth, people poured out of their homes, looking up at the sky in awe. The alien ships that had seemed so threatening were now dwarfed by humanity's fleet. In New York, Tom, the cheerful assistant, stood next to a shell-shocked Zixlora. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Tom said, grinning. He pulled out a badge. "Agent Tom, Earth Intelligence, at your service." Zixlora felt its legs go wobbly. The alien sat down hard, trying to process what was happening. In the UN, President Chen continued. "For years, we've been preparing, learning from every piece of alien tech we could find, building, planning, uniting, not just as nations, but as a planet." She turned to the screen showing the Confederacy's supreme leader. "We don't want war. But if you force our hand, know this, we will defend our home." The supreme leader sputtered. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Primitive planets were supposed to cower, not reveal planet-wide secret defense programs. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet began to move. With a grace that belied their massive size, the ships took up defensive positions around the planet. Farmer Joe, now Captain Miller, led a squadron of smaller fighters. They zipped between the larger ships, showing off maneuvers that made some alien pilots feel space-sick just watching. "Yeehaw!" Joe's voice crackled over the comm. "Always wanted to do that." Back in the UN, Zixlora finally found its voice. "But the Confederacy, we have so many more ships, so much more advanced technology." Chen's smile turned a bit sad. "Perhaps, but we have something more powerful." "What could be more powerful than advanced alien tech?" Zixlora asked. "The human spirit," Chen replied. "We've faced extinction-level threats before. Ice ages, plagues, our own nuclear weapons. Each time, we didn't just survive. We grew stronger." As if to prove her point, more ships appeared. Vessels from every nation on Earth joined the fleet. Old rivals now flew side by side, united against a common threat. In space, Captain Miller's voice came over the general comm channel. "Looky here, folks. Seems our alien friends forgot the first rule of visiting someone's home." General Rodriguez, aboard the Hope, finished the thought. "Always call ahead. It's just good manners." Laughter rippled through Earth's fleet, a sound of relief and pride. The Supreme Leader's face had turned an interesting shade of purple. This changes nothing. We still outnumber you." "Perhaps," Chen said calmly. "But are you willing to put that to the test? To start a war you thought would be easy, but now realize might cost you everything." Silence fell. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Zixlora looked from the humans to the screen showing the Supreme Leader. For the first time, the alien ambassador saw fear in its leader's eyes. In that moment, Zixlora realized a fundamental truth. The Galactic Confederacy had made a terrible, terrible mistake. They had underestimated humanity. And now, the universe would never be the same. Alien panic. The giant screen in the UN building crackled with static. The Supreme Leader's purple face had disappeared, replaced by chaos. Alien voices shouted in the background. Alarms blared. It looked like the Galactic Confederacy was having a very bad day. Zixlora sat in a corner, head in hands. The alien ambassador mumbled to itself, "This can't be happening. This can't be happening." President Chen turned to her advisors. "Well," she said with a small smile, "I think we made our point." In space, Earth's fleet held position. Captain Joe Miller's voice crackled over the comm. "So, do we get to shoot something now? I've been practicing my aim on cow pies for years." General Rodriguez, aboard the EDS Hope, chuckled. "Stand down, cowboy. Let's see how our visitors react first. Back on the alien mothership, panic had fully set in. The Supreme Leader barked orders, its usual calm completely shattered. How did we miss this? It shouted. Someone tell me how an entire planet hid a space fleet from us. A nervous aide approached. Sir, we're getting reports from other sectors. It seems Earth wasn't the only planet hiding things from us. The Supreme Leader's eyes bulged. What? Meanwhile, on Earth, people celebrated in the streets. The alien threat that had loomed over them for months suddenly seemed a lot less scary. In Times Square, a giant screen showed live feeds from space. People cheered as Earth's ships flew in formation, looking like a cross between sci-fi dreams and good old human ingenuity. In a small town in Russia, an old woman watched the news and smiled. She turned to her cat and said, "See, Mishka, I told you those nights in the factory were for something important." She patted a hidden panel in her wall, behind which lay advanced alien tech she'd been reverse engineering for years. Similar scenes played out across the globe. Regular people revealed their secret roles in Earth's grand plan. The quiet librarian in London, secret linguist who helped decode alien languages, the surfer dude in Australia, underwater propulsion expert. Back in the UN, Zix Laura finally looked up. The alien's eyes were wide with a mix of fear and was that admiration. How? Zix Laura asked simply. President Chen sat down next to the alien. We've known about extraterrestrial life for longer than you might think, Ambassador. We've had visitors before, some friendly, some not so much. We learned from each encounter. She gestured to the screen showing Earth's fleet. This is the result of decades of preparation, of humanity coming together, setting aside our differences, and working towards a common goal. Zix Laura shook its head in disbelief. But your TV shows, your public technology. Agent Tom, the once cheerful assistant, now looking very serious in his Earth intelligence uniform, stepped in. All part of the plan, my blue friend. We needed to look harmless, divided, easy to conquer. In space, more surprises were unfolding. Ships from other planets, long thought to be under Confederacy control, began to appear. They took positions alongside Earth's fleet. General Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. Well, looks like we started a trend. On the Confederacy mothership, the Supreme Leader was having a meltdown. Betrayal. Mutiny. I'll have all their tentacles for this. An aide nervously approached. Sir, we're receiving a transmission. From Earth. President Chen's face appeared on their screen. Her expression was calm, but her eyes held steel. Supreme Leader, she said, I think it's time we had a chat about the future of galactic relations. The Supreme Leader sputtered. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. It was supposed to be a simple conquest. Not this. Back on Earth, in the secret underground bunker, scientists and military leaders watched the unfolding events with a mix of pride and nervousness. Do you think they'll back down? A young scientist asked. General Rodriguez, now on a secure line from the Hope, answered. They'd be fools not to. But then again, they were foolish enough to threaten Earth in the first place. In the UN building, Zix Laura was having an epiphany. The alien turned to President Chen. You never needed our help, did you? All those meetings, those negotiations. Chen nodded. We needed time. And information. Every meeting, every tour, every seemingly innocent question. It all helped us prepare. Zix Laura slumped in its seat. The Confederacy will not take this well. There will be those who push for war, despite this. The alien waved vaguely at the screen showing Earth's fleet. Perhaps Chen agreed. But war is rarely the wisest choice, especially when you've just discovered that your opponent is far more formidable than you thought. As if on cue, the Supreme Leader's face reappeared on the big screen. The alien leader looked deflated. Earth, the Supreme Leader said, its voice lacking its usual boom. It seems we may have misunderstood each other. Perhaps we should renegotiate the terms of our relationship. A cheer went up in the UN building. Out in space, Captain Joe Miller's whoop of joy echoed through the comm systems. President Chen stood tall. "We're ready to talk, Supreme Leader. But this time, as equals. No more threats. No more attempts at manipulation. It's time for a new era in galactic relations." As the negotiations began, Zixlora watched in awe. The alien ambassador had come to Earth expecting to find a primitive, easily conquered world. Instead, it had found something incredible. A young species with an indomitable spirit and a few tricks up its sleeve. The galaxy would never be the same, and somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other alien races watched and wondered. What other surprises did these humans have in store? Humans rule. 1 year had passed since the day Earth revealed its secret fleet. The galaxy had changed more in that 1 year than in the previous 1,000. In a grand hall on a neutral planet, representatives from dozens of alien races gathered. At the center of attention was a group of humans, led by President Chen. They weren't just attending the meeting. They were running it. Zixlora, now the official Earth liaison to the galaxy, watched with a mix of awe and amusement. Who would have thought that the primitive humans would end up here? President Chen stood to address the gathering. "Friends, allies, fellow inhabitants of this vast galaxy, we stand at the dawn of a new era." In the back of the room, Captain Joe Miller, now Admiral Miller, leaned towards General Rodriguez. "Still can't believe we're here," he whispered. "Last year, I was milking cows. Now I'm milking the Milky Way." Rodriguez stifled a laugh. Chen continued, "The old Galactic Confederacy is no more. In its place, we propose a new alliance, one built on mutual respect, cooperation, and the sharing of knowledge." The alien representatives murmured among themselves. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked nervous. A tall, tentacled being rose to speak. "But what assurance do we have that Earth won't become the very thing it opposed? That you won't use your power to dominate us as the Confederacy tried to do?" Chen smiled. "A fair question. And the answer is simple. Checks and balances." She waved her hand, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the room. It showed a complex web of connections between different planets and species. "Our proposal is for a true galactic democracy," Chen explained. "No single race, including humans, will hold all the power. We'll have a rotating council, with decisions made by consensus." The tentacled alien sat down, looking impressed. Meanwhile, back on Earth, humans were adapting to their new role in the galaxy with typical creativity. In New York, a popular new restaurant served dishes from a dozen different planets. The chef, a former astronaut, argued passionately with a regular customer about the best way to prepare Zorgon slug pasta. In a small town in Japan, a group of school children played a new game called Galactic Hopscotch, where each square represented a different planet. And in Silicon Valley, tech companies were having a field day with alien technology. The latest smartphones could now translate any language in the galaxy, and hovercars were quickly replacing traditional vehicles. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In the Grand Hall, a reptilian alien raised a concern. What about those who don't wish to join this new alliance? What about the remnants of the old Confederacy? Admiral Miller stepped forward. "Well, folks, it's like this. Back on my farm, when a bull gets too ornery, sometimes you gotta show it who's boss. But once you do, you treat it fair." He grinned at the confused alien faces. "What I mean is, we're prepared to defend this alliance if needed, but we'd much rather make friends than enemies." General Rodriguez nodded. "Earth's fleet, along with our allies, will serve as a peacekeeping force. We're not looking to conquer, just to maintain order and protect the rights of all sentient beings." As the meeting continued, Zixlora couldn't help but reflect on how much had changed. The alien remembered its first impressions of Earth, how it had dismissed humans as primitive and easy to conquer. Now, Zixlora watched as these same primitive humans reshaped the galaxy. They'd brought with them strange and wonderful things: democracy, pizza, rock music, and an endless capacity for innovation. Sure, there had been some awkward moments, like when a human delegate suggested solving an interplanetary dispute with a dance-off. Surprisingly, it worked. Or when Earth introduced the galaxy to cat videos, nearly crashing the galactic internet. But overall, humanity's influence had been overwhelmingly positive. They approached space travel with the enthusiasm of children discovering a new playground. They tackled galactic problems with a mix of advanced technology and good old-fashioned common sense. As the meeting wound down, President Chen made one final announcement. In the spirit of our new alliance, Earth will be hosting the first intergalactic cultural festival next month. We invite all of you to attend and share your unique cultures with the galaxy. The hall erupted in excited chatter. Even the most serious alien diplomats couldn't hide their curiosity about this human concept of a festival. Later, at a reception, Zixlora approached Chen. "I must admit," the alien said, "I never imagined this outcome when I first came to Earth." Chen laughed. "Neither did we, to be honest. We were just trying to protect our home. But now we have a chance to make the whole galaxy a better place." As they talked, a group of younger aliens approached, looking excited. "Is it true?" one asked. "Are you really going to teach us this human thing called breakdancing?" Chen grinned. "Oh yes, and wait until you try karaoke." As the party continued, with humans and aliens mingling freely, trading stories and jokes, one thing became clear: the galaxy was never going to be the same again. Humans hadn't just secured their place among the stars. They had brought their unique brand of chaos, creativity, and compassion to the cosmos. And somehow, improbably, it worked. The age of human rule had begun. But it wasn't rule by force or fear. It was rule by friendship, by innovation, by the unshakable belief that the galaxy could be a better place. And that, perhaps, was the biggest surprise of all.